Fortune, and this session is being recorded, so you probably want to keep yourself on mute. I've got some visuals for us, but you don't have to watch them. You can keep your eyes closed except when we're moving, because there will be a portion for that as well. I am going to share my screen right now, and I will be spotlighting me for the recording so that I'm the one who will be showing up on the recording now. And here we go. Let me show you my slide. There you go. No, here we go. No, let me try it again. There we go. So you are in the meditation circle for the Spring 2022 RC, and I am going to be welcoming you tonight. So I'll be welcoming you, and then we'll be moving into a movement meditation with Dr. Vega. Dr. Sims will lead us through a meditation called Floating in Awareness, which seems to be quite wonderful. And Dr. Smyth will finish up with bringing mindfulness and kindfulness to your experience. I would like to open us with a quote that I found in a lovely book of poetry by Joy Harjo. And this is from Conflict Resolution for Holy Beings. And she writes, when you find your way to the circle, to the fire kept burning by the keepers of your soul, you will be welcomed. So I'd like to welcome you all tonight here. And before we get on with moving, I'd like you to consider a moment of settling in and going inside, beginning with your breath. And if you can notice breathing in through your nose, perhaps breathing out through pursed lips, ever so gently. And if it's comfortable for you, you can let your eyes go closed as you follow your breathing to begin to settle into this space. Breathing in, pausing, and breathing out. Give yourself another generous breath in. And if during this time you've noticed that other things are coming up for you, things from where you have been earlier today, things from where you're going to be going next, the remembrances and also the anticipations, allow them to float by like little rays of sun setting here at the end of the day at the beginning of a week of beginnings. And with your breath in and pause, and your breath out, allow yourself to release and let go of all of the busyness from the beginning of a semester, the busyness from the beginning of a week, perhaps the busyness from the beginning of starting something new. And in this time together, allow yourself to focus on just being present, breathing in and breathing out. And if during our time together you find yourself being called away mentally, when you're ready to rejoin us, when you're ready to recenter with us, bring yourself back to your breathing. And now, before we go too deep, I invite you to begin to bring your eyes back to focus, flutter your eyelids open. And I'm going to invite in Dr. Vega to begin with a movement meditation.
Okay, well, I am backing myself away from the visual field here so my whole body can be here, but you're not going to necessarily do what my body is doing. I want you all to take this time to let me guide you into seeing what your body needs to do with just some gentle possibilities that I'm going to offer. And I'm going to invite you first to stand up. I don't know about you, but I've been sitting for a really long time today. Been looking forward to a chance to stand up and maybe take a moment here to just sort of shake things out a little bit. And then, in the midst of or towards the end of that shaking, begin to find your feet on the ground. Maybe you're still moving a little bit. You can begin to play with movement back and forth on your feet, shifting into your heels, shifting into your metatarsal and toes, shifting from one foot to the other, feeling what happens as you give your weight to different places in your feet as your feet connect with the ground underneath you. Maybe you can bend your knees a little bit, maybe bending one and then the other. Maybe your feet want to get a little wider apart, give you some room to circle yourself around that shifting of weight, that playing with the bottoms of your feet in the ground. Shifting, might begin to let your attention move its way up your legs. Just noticing what your knees are doing to help you with this process of exploring your weight on your feet. And then feeling the strength in your thighs. I want to say if there are any of you who aren't standing, who are just in some other position here because that's what works for your body, just begin to bring your attention to the places we're bringing our attention to as we stand, feeling the strength, feeling the muscles, maybe feeling the fatigue, just whatever is there. And as your attention moves up your legs into that place where your legs meet your torso, maybe beginning to play a little bit with that hip joint, maybe circling your hips around a little bit, maybe seeing how far your hips want to go to one side or the other. Maybe pushing out to the back or out to the front. And your arms can do whatever feels right to them. Maybe they float. Maybe they sit on your hips. Maybe they reach out. Up to you to find the way your arms can best support this process of exploring with your hips. Feeling all the places that want to push or move or shift. Maybe there's something your hands want to do to help it along. My hands like to go to my lower back. And then as you play with hips, you might begin to notice what's happening at your waist. Bring your attention to the possibilities that your waist and the movement of your waist allow. That might begin to bring some movement into your upper body. Again, you're letting your arms help you. Maybe they want to curl all the way in. Maybe they want to reach all the way out. Maybe they want to stretch up. Just noticing how that movement of your arms, as small or as big as it is, affect what's happening in your torso. How you can allow movement that feels good, that relieves places that needed to be stretched, that curl, that open. And just letting your own body, your own spine, since we're here in the torso, help you to find what feels good. We're still there on our feet. We might check in with them a little bit, those feet that are helping you to stay upright. And then seeing where that movement in your torso wants to expand. Perhaps your shoulders, perhaps your elbows, perhaps your wrists, your fingers. Just exploring, expanding, contracting, circling, shifting back and forth. And then all the way up from your shoulders, letting your head, your neck, see what would feel good. Gently, very gently here. Really listening to what feels right. To loosen things up. To breathe into places that have been still for a long time. And now just freely letting the energy that's in your body, whatever level of energy that is, take you into what feels right. And for me, it's taking me forward to let my lower back release. And for you, it might just be something very small. Maybe just a little bit of shifting in some place that feels satisfying in some way. You might check into your body and see if there are places that are still kind of asleep that would like a little more attention, and how you might give that attention. What would feel soothing? What would feel healing? What would feel maybe even energizing? This is your moment of connection with all the different places in your body and being that you can give permission to explore and express. And slowly finding your way to a very centered place. Finding how your feet can best support you. How far apart should they be for you to feel centered, balanced? about your knees? What's just the right level of opening, not too bent, not too tightened. Finding the place for your shoulders. It feels released, easy. Your hands relaxed. Nothing they have to do. Maybe there's a place that you want to touch, belly or heart, thighs, head. Giving to yourself what feels nurturing. Feeling your physical being attended to. And when you're ready, find the place that you want to settle back down into. For whatever comes next. Thanks for joining me and some movement to start us off.
Thank you, Dr. Vega. That was quite wonderful. So next I'm going to ask Dr. Sims to take us through an exercise in floating in awareness. And Dr. Sims, do you want me to leave up the visual or shall I take it down?
You know, I think it would be nice to keep it up. It might be a nice complement to what we're doing here. So as we make this transition in whatever way feels natural, thank you, Dr. Vega, for that wonderfully embodied practice of movement. And here we are at the beginning of something new, a new semester, and also a new year. And this time of year can sometimes deliver messages telling us to be more or better or different with resolutions and the like. And so rarely are we told that we are okay just as we are. Yet it's from this place of self-acceptance that we genuinely grow. So as I invite you into this practice, just finding a way for you to comfortably be. And it's this strange paradox. Until we accept ourselves as we are, we can't make the changes we seek. And so meditation can be this space for you to simply arrive and to be, where you can relax, where you can rest in awareness, where you don't need to effort or go deep within yourself, where you can ease and settle and receive. Acceptance means meeting yourself where you are right here and staying present to that. So as I guide you through this meditation, decide how you want to be, seated or maybe remaining standing, or even continuing to move if that feels right in your body. Maybe you want to lie down. So finding yourself into that place where you can feel most comfortable. What do you need in this moment? And create whatever conditions feel good for you. And allowing your belly to relax and to ease. So beginning at your core in a real kind sort of a way, letting that belly be at ease. Noticing how the belly rises and falls with the breath. That gentle, steady rhythm of the breath. And noticing how your breath is right in this moment. Maybe a little bit more expansive and full after moving for just a bit. And connecting with what is there. And the breath is like waves in an ocean or like a lake. And just imagining that you are floating on those waves. Gentle and easy. Floating in that awareness of the breath, breathing in and breathing out. And so that there is a lightness, a softness, maybe even a playfulness. And noticing how the breath flows in and out, letting go of any need to do anything or to change the breath or to fix anything. We are letting go of all of that. Let it go. Let it go. That belly is soft, chest is open, widening that space of the heart, opening the chest, allowing the shoulders to move back, and then inviting them downward. Soft, soft shoulders, relaxed. Nothing to figure out. No deep dive that we need to take into ourselves. Relaxing and softening those tiny muscles around the eyes. Noticing any tension that you might be holding in the face, perhaps a furrowed brow as thoughts start to creep in, perhaps just softening the forehead, easing the cheeks, releasing the jaw, allowing the throat and the neck to be at ease. The throat open still for expression, for giving and receiving, but a little softer, more playful, dance-like even. Letting this lightness flow through the arms. And aware of the sensations in the hands. And that felt sense of aliveness inside the hands. Blood flowing, some sense of vibration or pulsing. And for a moment, if you want to, just experiment with flipping the palms upward. Palms up, receiving and open. And surrendering to what is right here. Feeling the air against the skin of the palms. Feeling what it's like to be open, to receive, and to surrender to this moment just as it is. Accepting yourself just as you are. Still floating in this awareness. You can shift your hands, have them be however is comfortable for you. Letting the hip flexors relax. We've been moving the body, so just allowing that softening to come into the low back and letting yourself receive the support of the chair or the floor or the ground, the earth. Feeling the body connected with that supporting surface. Feeling the feet connected to the earth. As if you are breathing with the earth, pulling up through the earth on the in-breath, filling up your whole body and being. And with that exhale, releasing into the earth whatever is no longer serving you, whatever you no longer need. Breathing in love and belonging, strength from the earth. And breathing out whatever you're ready to let go of. Giving back to the earth that sense of love, ease, gratitude. Feeling that constant sensation of the in-breath, the flow of the out-breath, rhythmic and wave-like. Noticing as thoughts might be arising and floating into this awareness. And see if you can invite some playfulness or some ease around noticing those thoughts. There they are. Give them a friendly wave. And remember that you don't have to get so wrapped up in these thoughts. Just returning, anchoring back into that breath, the sensation of the body. Whatever is happening to you in this moment. Allowing yourself to receive, to feel some lightness, some buoyancy, some ease. A sense of playfulness and flow and movement. Maybe you even sway a little bit from side to side. It's a real gentle kind of swaying. And letting that gentle swaying from side to side be playful and fluid and soothing. Swaying and breathing and receiving. And starting to slow that sway. Making those movements a little bit smaller. And then inviting yourself back into that place of stillness. Stillness, and yet still feeling that movement of the breath. In and out. Like the waves, really gentle waves in the water. You're floating in the in-breath and the out-breath. You are floating in this ocean of awareness, calm, and creativity. And just letting that flow over you and around you and fill you. Nothing to do or to achieve or to become. Just letting yourself be. Let yourself float in awareness. Held. Supported by the breath. That rhythmic breathing in. Exhaling, breathing out. And maybe allowing a slight smile to come to your face. Accepting this moment as it is. accepting yourself just as you are. Floating in the waves of the breath, floating in your own ocean of awareness. And remembering that you can come back to this place of awareness in floating in your own ocean. And please stay here as long as you would like, and that you can return at any moment. This big, spacious, and kind awareness that is always within you. And remaining just as you are, or shifting, doing what feels good for you in this moment. As we make yet another transition into the next part of our circle.
Thank you, Shannon. I think now we're going to call up Dr. Smyth, who will be talking to us about bringing mindfulness and kindfulness to our experience. Are you ready?
Yes. Thank you. So welcome everybody, and take a few moments now. Keep floating as you want to, as Dr. Sims suggested, or maybe making some movements to identify what's comfortable for you. You might even get up and take a few steps and come back down to your chair, whatever's good for you. So, and so often mindfulness meditation focuses on present moment awareness, but we can also focus on the how we attend to our experience. We can make use of meditation primarily for calming and presencing, and at the same time there's opportunities for insights and one's responses to the demands of life. And I love when we do these meditation circles how synergistic they are. So Dr. Sims began with talking about moving into the new year, and indeed we're ending one year and beginning the next, beginning a new semester. And on the cusp of many possibilities, we're heading towards spring, and there are new classes and new learnings and new people to study with. And at least in some places in North America, the snow is beginning to melt and some trees are beginning to bud already. In other places, it's very much winter, but the spring will come. It will come. And, also this is a time of many uncertainties, and of which I don't need to specifically remind you. So there's a question, how will we encounter these possibilities? And how will we encounter these uncertainties and challenges? One framework for mindfulness from Shapiro and colleagues is to think about mindfulness in terms of intention. The intention to meditate, the intention to be present to one's experience. And attention, this making use of our ability to direct our attention in ways that are helpful. An attitude. What's our attitude to our experience right now? What are our habitual attitudes to our own experience? And one Buddhist teacher, Ajahn Brahm, has coined the term kindfulness to reflect the stance of kindness towards our own experience. A kindness that can actually help us to be more in the present moment and not turning away from our experience. As Dr. Sims mentioned, being open to and gentle with our own experience. So Just for a moment again now, getting in touch with your body sitting there, or standing if you're standing, or lying if you're lying, and finding a way to be there with a sense of comfort, support, dignity. If you're sitting, feeling the support for your feet from the floor, your legs, your pelvis in the chair, taking any kind of support you can from the chair, from the floor. And for a moment, dropping in again on the breathing, the passage of the air at the nostrils and the mouth, and maybe the throat. And what kind of movements are there of breathing in the chest, the front and the sides and the back of the chest, all around. And also the movement of the breath in the abdomen, the front, the belly, the sides, the low back, even down into the pelvis, sensing the breathing in the lower part of your torso. And you might try doing this. If it's comfortable, you might bring a hand to your chest, like the Buddha in the picture and the young man in the picture. Not that you have to look at the picture. Maybe both hands if it's comfortable. And just direct your attention for a moment to this heart space. Imagining the heart space in the center of your chest. And then is there anywhere in your body that would benefit from kind attention? It might be one place, or it might be an overall feeling in the body, a feeling even that comes from a thought or an emotion. And you can draw on all the feelings of well-being that we've generated in all these practices that we've done this evening. And ask yourself, how would it be to bring patience to this aspect of your experience right now? How would it be to bring non-judgment to this feeling in the body, or first sense of the body? How can you be open to your own experience in a kind way? Noticing if any little doubts, concerns, pains arise, can you bring kindfulness as well as mindfulness to any aspect of your experience that you care to? Maybe there's a place for acceptance or equanimity. Can we get some sense of being generous toward this experience in and of our body right now? And of course, you can rest your hands and arms anytime you want to. You can bring them to your chest anytime you want to. You can just bring your attention to your chest. And to help, you might try this practice. You might imagine breath coming and going into the area of the heart, into the middle of your chest. Imagine a flow of air in from the front into your chest, but also from the back. As you breathe in, the air fills your chest, gently inflating in all directions, but without strain. And maybe, as you imagine actually happens, the chest inflates, but don't work at it. Just proceed gently, imagining breathing air into the front and the back of your chest and this possibility of expansion. And now as you breathe out, you might imagine a flow of air upwards through the spine and toward the head, however you imagine it. You don't have to visualize it. You don't have to feel it. Just getting some sense of the possibility of the air flowing upward and downward. And you can lengthen and expand a little bit upward and downward. Breathing in and imagining gently expanding forward and backward, sideways. Breathing out and imagining the spine and your body gently lengthening upward and downward from the center. You know, because sometimes when we encounter something unpleasant or anticipate something difficult, we contract. Often there can be a subtle shortening or narrowing or tightening physically, but also mentally. And then pausing a moment from the specific breathing, the specific imagining, and just feel into the sense of your body and your mood, drawing on all the sense of well-being from the practices this evening. And then drawing on this capacity for insight and reflecting on going forward into our new year, maybe spend some moments feeling into the time and the space ahead of you. What's to come? What's to come for you in the next days and months and semesters? And could you bring patience to your experience that arises moving forward into your life, into your year, especially any difficult ones that you anticipate as you move forward now? How would it be to bring non-judgment? How would it be to be open to your experience of whatever kind? Open in a kind way. Could you be generous to your own experience? Just imagining, just sensing into this space that you're moving into in time and space. And, you know, sometimes it can be as hard to embrace joy and positive experiences. Maybe we feel we don't deserve them, we can't believe them. Sometimes it can be as hard to embrace those as to allow space for difficult things and tough times. So, you know, can we bud greenly? Can we send out sprouts, even if there's snow around? And as the year progresses, can we stay fresh in the heat of daily life? Refreshing our commitment to be kind to our experience, to be mindful and present, but also kindful and compassionate. And maybe even there's somebody in your life, in your world, that you would also wish for them to be kindful to their own experience. And as you care to, as you reflect on your moving into this year, you might try the practice again of breathing into the area of the heart. Maybe bring the hands to the heart on one hand, or just your attention to the middle of your chest, and imagine again the air flowing in from the front and the back and gently expanding, gently inflating in all directions. And as you breathe out, imagine gently lengthening upward and downward, the flow upward and downward as you breathe out. Inviting the sense of expansion in all directions with the in-breath and the out-breath. And, you know, slowly now, gently now, imagining kindfulness toward all your experience now and going forward to whatever extent possible. And slowly now leaving that practice for now, feeling into the sense of your body, feeling your mood. And slowly coming back to being present in the room that you're in. Take some time now. Maybe if your eyes closed, letting them open. If you softened your gaze, lifting your gaze, sharpening your gaze. Feeling the chair, feeling the floor, sensing the space around you. And this might be a moment just to come to the front edge of your chair when you feel ready, and make sure your eyes are open, and come on up and stand a moment. Stand. Feel your feet on the floor like you did with Dr. Vega. And just walking now, taking a few steps and imagining that you could walk now into the coming days, into the coming time with a sense of mindfulness, of awareness, and a sense of kindness toward yourself. What insights can you bring from being kind to yourself, being expansive in your body to the next steps in your life, in your year? Good. Thank you, everybody. Come on back, and I will hand you back to Dr. Fortune.
Thank you, Dr. Smyth. So now that you've all got your eyes open, I invite you, if it's comfortable, to gaze onto the image on the screen. And perhaps you want to gaze on it, and then you can close your eyes and continue to hold on to it in your mind's eye. Because what you see floating there in front of you are countless numbers of candles. And as you breathe in and pause and breathe out, allow your gaze to focus softly on one candle. Breathing in and gently breathing out. And if you hold on to that image, you might find that even when you close your eyes, that the light continues on. Breathing in and fueling the blaze and the flame inside of you. Pausing and breathing out and continuing to feel the glow of your inner fire. Continue to breathe, focusing on that flame, focusing on your own candle. And you might notice how you might feel different now than you did, just a short time ago, before you moved your body with Dr. Vega's words guiding us. And you might let yourself scan your body to see if you notice any difference. Breathing in and breathing out. You might notice how that movement also fueled the flame inside of you. And allow yourself to take a few breaths, just feeling that. The fire of movement. And then in your mind's eye, you might recall that Dr. Sims had us floating, floating above the clouds, floating to transcend our own consciousness, weightless, timeless. But all the while we're breathing in and breathing out. And you might stay with a few breaths on that sensation, the sensation of floating. And then you might allow yourself to float on to that space of kindfulness, sending kindfulness down inside you, deep inside of you, to fuel that flame in you. The flame that will glow bright through the whole semester, through the days ahead, all the while breathing in and breathing out. And allow yourself some gentle breaths, filling yourself up with kindfulness and feeling how it warms the flame inside of you. And then you may allow your breath to expand. Expand and notice that it's igniting other flames. And if you're gazing upon the candles on the water, the ones that reach out across into the horizon, notice how they fuel each other. One candle and then the next. So you might imagine with every breath, you breathe into your own flame, fueling your own flame. It extends to the next and the next, until as far as you can see, we've lighted up the world. All breathing in and breathing out. I invite you to stay with your breath there for a while. And if you can follow my words a little bit more, I'm going to read for closing a poem from the book I started with, Conflict Resolutions for Holy Beings, poems by Joy Harjo. Each human is a complex, contradictory story. Some stories within us have been unfolding for years. Others are trembling with fresh life as they peek above the horizon. Each is a zigzag of emotional design and ancestral architecture. All the stories in the Earth's mind are connected. Breathing in, pausing and breathing out. For a moment, feel that sense of connection. Feel the connection of your light connected with the light beyond. And if it's comfortable for you, invite that glow, that warmth, the kindfulness, the movement, the floating, to carry forward with you in the days ahead. And now with another generous breath in, begin to bring your awareness to the physical space around you. If your eyes have been closed, begin to flutter them open. And as you breathe in, allow yourself to sit up taller and maybe stretch out. Maybe open your arms and your chest, allowing yourself a good breath in, and open your eyes. And please join us as we say our farewells for the evening.